Hello, everybody. My name is Benny, and welcome to The Fool's Apprentice. Today, I have a guest named Jason. Jason, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate your time. How are you doing?
I'm good, Benny. Of course. Thank you. How are you?
I'm actually doing really good. It's been a busy day. I ended up talking to a few people from YouTube. And then I had a friend. So it's been a busy morning. Then I had break for lunch, and then here we back are doing tarot stuff again.
Ah, nice.
Can you tell me about your channel, how you came up with your channel name, a little bit about what your channel is all about?
Absolutely. So I am Jason from Tarot by the Pines. Originally, my channel was called Readings with Jason. Back in 2020 is when I started my channel for TarotTube. And then in the following year, in February of 2021, that's when I changed it to Tarot by the Pines. And how that kind of originated is, Benny, I'm a country guy. So I lived by the countryside for many, many, many years. And my hometown is based in Southern Virginia. And we had pine trees surrounding the house. And I kind of want to incorporate some of my personality or some of my upbringing to the channel.
Mhm.
And when I think of tarot, I think of me time. I consult the tarot to basically have my me time to get away from the hustle and bustle and just, seek clarity and peace. And going back to the pines or the pine trees, uh, they're very known to be resilient trees, plants.
Mhm.
And in many cultures, the pine trees are symbolized as wisdom, peace, clarity, and things of like that. So I kind of combined the two, Terra by the Pines, to encapsulate that peace and clarity. And my channel, I like to basically give back to the community because when I first started visiting TerraTube prior to my channel, I would get a sense of a community, and I loved watching people
Yeah.
share their passion about tarot, and of course, like the hashtags were like I'm not a very creative person, so I thrive off of being inspired by people creating these hashtags. And when I started my channel, I wanted to give back and I wanted to participate in this loving and welcoming community. And it's been a blast ever since. Started in 2020 in the pandemic, trapped in my home, couldn't do anything. Figured, why not?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people started off in the pandemic, and I think also that I've been hearing is that's when people actually got to do a lot of deep dives, really got to study the tarot, got to know it a lot better. So, I hear that very often.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, Benny, I started learning the tarot before the pandemic,
Yeah.
2017. So I kind of feel like tarot has become very commercialized.
Oh, yeah.
It just blew up since the pandemic, and so much even more so with the tarot tube.
Yeah, I've heard that as well from people who have been quite established in tarot tube, talking about how it's really blown up. Prices have gone out. All of a sudden we got these people who are collecting.
Uh,
The tarot tube community has really grown. So yes, I hear that. I didn't necessarily see it because I wasn't around during that time. But one thing that I do relate to you is wanting to be part of the community.
mhm.
And so I one of that's one of the reasons I'm doing these kind of tarot chats is because I see y'all on television and I
Not
don't have
television.
that sense of community. So this is my way of reaching out and connecting, and then also having people kind of watch and see like why we started our channels, what's important to us, challenges we face, and all. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I really like that idea.
nice, nice.
And it's been really nice because several people that I've had on the channel, I talk to like regularly. So like, um, even we have I talked to Tara. I forget her channel name. She's gonna hate me. Uh, right off the bat. But I talked to her this morning. I just messaged Lisa from Witchery Tarot, Ali from Timudu Tarot. So it's allowed me to actually make these connections where I actually get to sit and talk to somebody. Like Jennifer this morning from Bohemian Rose Tarot, we talked for like 45 minutes to an hour. You know,
Wow,
just
nice.
just chatting, catching up. So, and then one great thing is that we get to collaborate on like what are you doing, what's coming on, do you have a series that you're coming up with,
Mhm.
just because it's exciting to be able to share those things with somebody.
Absolutely. So, Benny, how long have you been dabbling into tarot?
So originally I'd say maybe 3 years ago I collected a couple of decks, but that went away really quick, maybe a month. So really a year and a half.
Oh,
And so
okay.
as long as my channel's been on, pretty much that much time.
Okay. And what I like about your channel is that you're coming in from an outsider. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like you're learning the tarot
Mhm.
as you make these videos.
Yes, that was my goal
Okay.
because there wasn't anybody who I saw that was just starting out learning the tarot.
Yeah.
People have already been learning the tarot and maybe they already started a channel, but they have years before of studying it or
Yeah.
using it. I didn't have that experience. And because I didn't see it, I'll do it. That's the main reason I did it. I didn't necessarily do it because I wanted to connect. It was mainly because, well, somebody out there has to be in the same position I am. So let me record these videos so those people can see what it's like. And I knew that it would be challenging. I just didn't realize how challenging it would be for me.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'm interested in learning your challenges.
Oh, well, the thing is, so part of it is scheduling and
Yeah.
trying to figure out where to fit study time.
Mhm.
Then I added this channel. And so trying to figure out now my time is decreased because now I'm committed to making these videos when maybe I could be studying.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes I'm just freaking lazy and I don't want to do it. And so I go through phases where I'm really motivated and then I have this lull and then I'm motivated again. And I try different things uh,
Hmm.
to try to get a handle of the tarot. But what I've been learning is that I need to make a decision, stick with one thing, and go with that. So, for example, I did Lisa Popez's tarot on training wheels.
Yes.
And I did the whole thing, and I stuck with that, and that really helped. And then
Okay.
while I was studying that, I decided to do a review on it because then I can take my experience and then share it with everybody. In fact, and it was nice having Lisa on because we got to talk about that as well. So that was cool. But the big thing is motivation and time because it
Yeah.
feels so overwhelming. If I look at 78 cards, it feels overwhelming. So in my mind, I have to break it down into parts: the major arcana, the
Yeah.
sword, the cups. And that feels not as daunting.
So, Benny, are you learning reversals as well, or just upright for right now?
Just for upright, I don't think I'm going to learn reversals. I think the questions themselves kind of lend one way or another.
Yeah.
Also, I go with the intuition, and I don't predict the future. I don't do mental health. I don't do medical stuff. I don't think for me that's ethical. Um, but I do like these are the kinds of things that you need to be mindful of. This is something that you might need to consider before making a decision.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of things that could set you up for success, that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. It's really about being very mindful and things to contemplate before moving forward with whatever it is the question's being asked.
Okay.
And how do
So,
you read?
so when I first started reading, Benny, and you're gonna hate me, but I
Okay.
used to do predictive readings.
Oh, I don't hate you.
Um, but then I quickly learned that is not the way for me. It's literally it's literally low hanging fruit when you ask predictive or time questions. I just feel like you could do so much more. when you
Hmm.
consult with the tarot. So I use the phrase self-care. And going back to the questions that you ask, it's very similar, if in fact not the same. Um, I like to ask the tarot of like what to really focus on either that day or that week, or
Hmm.
to be mindful, right?
Yes.
Um, but I will say, Benny, going back to like having that motivation, I have lulls of being like really motivated
Yeah.
to either pick up a deck or create a video. And then I found a pattern where I would be really not motivated to either pick up a deck or do videos around the holidays.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to blame it on the holidays.
Okay. I noticed that. I was watching your video on burnout. You
Yes,
talked
yes.
about, you posted your video in October and you didn't make an announcement that you were going to take a break, and then you were back and you were just talking about your experience with burnout and trying and all the pressure. And I could relate putting you post a video
Mhm.
and then you're thinking about the next video. And then you
Yes,
talked about laying in bed at night, falling asleep, thinking about the video.
yes.
Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting because I think maybe many of us have that similar experience, especially when we're first starting out.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it's very daunting when you first start a tarot tube channel or even like learning the tarot.
Uh,
It's like a pressure cooker. Once
it-
you get in there, it just starts. But then you have to like really be mindful of like your mental health, and
yes.
you need to prioritize yourself rather than tarot or tarot tube.
Yeah, one of the thing in my goals for 2024, I talked about, you know, taking that pressure off to put videos up.
Hmm.
I think the only one that I really try to commit to is my series hashtag Saturdays.
Oh,
Every
yes.
Saturday, people are wanting or expecting to see that. And so
Yeah.
that's probably the only one that I feel pressure, but I've skipped a few Saturdays and, told myself it's okay to skip a Saturday.
That's right. I mean, we'll be here whenever you post. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Benny. I know I've experienced this in the past and I still do. Um, when you watch other people's videos, do you like compare yourself?
Uh, I don't compare myself to them really. I think the things that I do want that other people want is their ability to make their channels look beautiful. Like when they're looking overhead and they're talking about walkthroughs, and you see this beautiful crystals and plants and all that kind of stuff around. And I'm like,
Yeah,
God, I wish I could do that. It's that kind of stuff. I wish I could. I want to
yeah.
be able to. But comparing, no, I don't think I do. Being, I think my personality partly helps me with that. Being an older person helps me with that. Really valuing what I bring to the table, which I had to
Absolutely.
learn, I think has helped with that. But I also know that I bring something unique
Yeah.
that nobody else has, as everybody else. Like, I will tell you, your sense of humor is very distinct compared to anybody else that I've seen on YouTube. Like,
Oh,
you had
thank
this
you.
one line that cracked me up. It was the 5 W's, and you talked about, uh, Who, and and it was like not Windy Who from Whoville or something
Uh,
like that. That had me cracking up. So,
oh,
but
good.
I think that's one of the things that you bring in is that unique sense of humor, uh, that I
Well,
don't think a lot of other people have. There's
thank
this sense of
you.
ease that you bring.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, when I try to do a video, I try to like make it very homey and cozy. I mean, I don't have this beautiful backdrop or all these plants and crystals laying around. It's just basically me and my four walls,
Yeah.
just talking about tarot and just sharing my thoughts and opinions and my passion for it.
Yeah, I think, I get caught up. I will say that I do get caught up with aesthetics and how things look, as you can tell in my video.
I
I mean,
love your backdrop. I love the lights. I love green.
thank you. Um, but that's part of who I am. I'm a very visual person. So for me, that's important. But I think when I look at different channels, I'm not watching because of the what they have in the background or what they have on the table. I'm actually watching because of the content, because of the person, because of what they bring to the table. And sometimes it's just because I enjoy listening and watching. Sometimes it's because I really want to learn something.
Yeah.
I think a person that I go to a lot is Kelly from Truth and Story. Do you know her?
Oh, yes. Oh my
Sh-
gosh.
She is like a guru, and
Yeah.
not just tarot. I mean everything.
Everything.
That one,
Life.
yeah, so I go to her, like, when I wanna learn something, and
Yeah.
through her, I've gotten to really learn the cards a lot because she'll talk about the cards and why that card is why that card is the Fool and what she sees in it, and she compares it to the Rider-Waite's Fool. So I think that's
Yeah.
all very, very cool.
Yeah, and with Kelly, like her videos are long, but they
Yes,
are long for a good reason because she really
yes,
does a deep dive. And
she does.
I, she was one of my first not subscribers, first subscriptions when I started looking into TerraTube because she has vast amount of videos and they're like
Yes.
really, really good.
I've taken 2 of her classes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they're really, really good. And it is probably the best value for the money that you invest because for like 60, $75, she'll give you like 3 to 5 weeks of classes that
Yeah.
last 2 to 4 hours.
Wow.
So you learn a lot. And what's great is because it's live, you can ask these questions in the moment. Like if you need
Oh,
clarity or you're stuck,
yeah.
and she'll take the time to answer them. That's why sometimes they can last that long because she will
Okay.
answer all the questions.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
then also she has them on sale. She sells them as recordings, so you'll get all of them, but you can't ask the questions. But she's
Yeah.
teaching you everything that you need to learn in that class. So
Nice.
that's like I love those classes that she does.
Okay. Well, good to know.
So what was your first tarot channel that you ended up seeing? Do you recall?
Um, I think the very first was probably Truth and Story.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure I was trying to find like a walkthrough of a deck,
Mm-hmm.
and of course she had it.
She has a couple hundred
And
of these.
it made me. I'm pretty sure it was the Wild Unknown. I was looking up
Okay.
that deck, and from her talking about it and you know her describing everything, I ended up getting the deck.
And
So
do you like it? Do you use it?
so no.
That pause said it all.
No, so I first got the deck in 2017, and as soon as I got it, I tried working with it. And I think one of the reasons that really drew me to get the deck, besides Kelly's walkthrough, was that it reminded me of the Blair Witch Project
Oh,
because of
yes.
all the yeah. Um, and for someone who was just getting into tarot, I could I could not make any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Eh,
That happened with that it's really interesting to see when you grow because I've had decks
Yeah,
where I'm like, I don't get it. I don't see the correlation.
yeah,
Like Victorian Romantic, when I got it, I was like, I can't see it. I struggle, but now I can see the correlation. I can see the image and how it correlates to the Rider Waite. Do you read Rider Waite?
I do, I do.
So yeah, so it's I realized that it was a very exciting moment. So these spurts of growth that I don't see happening when I
Mhm.
recognize it's happened, that's exciting for me.
Okay,
And so, what was your first deck? Was that your first deck?
it was, and then I rehomed it, and then um, my next deck was the Everyday Witch Tarot,
Okay,
which I mean I love this deck. It's not a perfect deck, but it's dang near close to being a perfect deck.
okay.
You've probably have you seen this deck
Oh
floating
yeah, I've
around?
seen it. I've seen it.
Okay.
It's not my style, but I've seen it.
Okay.
People
Yeah.
love that deck. People love it.
And the thing is though, Benny, it's not really my aesthetic. It reminds me of Harry Potter a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And
I
it
can
has
see
this
that.
like whimsical land and all this. And I'm not a big cat person. And in every card, there's a cat in it.
Yeah, I'm
So
the
I'm
same way.
like,
I'm not a big Oh, but I will say, Kelsey from Huggy Tarot, and she had Tara on, and I don't know Tara's channel. I'm so sorry. Um, I'm gonna actually have her on in a couple of weeks as
nice.
well. They showed the Pussycat Tarot. It's the first cat tarot I have ever seen that I'm like, I might get this one.
Okay,
Uh,
so it's out and about.
it's in Etsy. It's called the Pussycat Tarot. It
Okay,
is really, really well done. I like the imagery. I like the way the cats are adorable. They have
okay,
facial expressions that make me laugh. It's really good. It's really good.
okay.
Check
I'm
it
gonna
out.
have to look that up.
Yeah. So, what is your aesthetic when it comes to And I think that's a hard question because tarot decks are so there's such a broad types of decks. But
Mhm.
what kind of decks do you tend to like? Like, what are your favorites?
So I really tend to lean towards modern.
Okay.
So, with the whole
Mighty Might,
RW.
the Mighty Hurt Tarot or something like that.
Yes, yes, that's a
Yeah.
good deck to modernize, and the Light Seers Tarot.
Yeah.
Um, and I think there's one more. Yeah, I'm not too big into like the old traditional aesthetic. Um,
Yeah. I call some of those decks old lady decks.
okay, I like that. They're old lady decks. That's what they are.
Yeah, I've said that before. When I first said it, it came out, but I didn't remember. I didn't think about it, and then when I posted the video, somebody commented on it. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, did I offend anybody? But I've had a couple of people say you should do a video on old lady decks, and I'm like, oh,
Yes.
I don't know, because those people that have them, I'm like, I'm 26, I'm not an old lady, or
Yeah.
or an older woman will be like, am I an old woman?
Yeah, I mean, I do have an old lady deck. I have the what is it? Let me see. Gosh, the Smith Waite Centennial
Yeah,
Edition.
I like that one. I like that one. But I don't have can you show me a few cards? I don't like the colors of the original Rider-Waite Smith.
Ew.
I don't like them.
No, Let's see, is it
Oh,
over?
okay. Yeah, I like those. I do
So,
like those. I like the blues and the skies in that one quite a bit.
and these are the backs. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yes. I like that one. I had that one before. I don't know what happened to it, but I love that deck.
Yeah, I like the old antique coffee stain palette.
Hmm.
Um,
I have one. Oh, let me see. I actually have two Rider-Waite Smith clones. I should have brought the other one out, but I didn't know that this was going to come up. But this is my favorite Rider-Waite clone, and it's because I absolutely love the colors in this. I've mentioned it before. It's a Neo Rider one, but I love the colors in these.
oh yeah.
I just think they're stunning.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that purple.
Yeah, and it's the color palette is right up my alley. It's the traditional imagery, which I think is really important.
Yes.
So this is my favorite Rider-Waite Smith clone by far.
Okay.
So they don't make this edition. They still have so the Neo Rider came in different color styles. Like they have one that's all pink, they have one that's all gold. They have the blue box one. You can
Yeah.
find these. They'll sell these for like $50 on like some of the Facebook trading
Yeah.
pages. So, but that's my favorite one.
Okay. What is your aesthetic that you lean towards?
I think mine is pretty broad. Um, I love all of the Baba Studios tarot decks. Love those.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I like very it's hard to kind of describe what I like. Um, for me, a lot of it has to do with color and
Hmm.
how images are done. So the Terra Volatile is in my top three.
Okay.
The Bohemian Gothic's in my top three, and um, the Solara Tarot. I couldn't think of the name. The Solara Tarot, but they're all very different.
They
But
sound
go
they
ahead.
sound very fancy, Benny.
Do you know them?
No.
You don't? Oh my God. And what was the other one? Uh, Terra Volatile. This one. Oh, the Bohemian Gothic. Do you have any Baba Studio decks?
Um, let me I don't think this is no, this is Taroteca Studio.
Okay.
That's
Oh yeah,
different.
yeah. So Baba Studios, they're very well known for the quality of the decks that they have, but this is the Terra Volatile. It's a darker deck, but I really love the colors and the aesthetic of it.
Oh yeah.
It feels like an ancient deck,
Oh yeah.
and there's just so much in the images that you can draw from. There are
Oh,
a whole bunch of different types of people in it.
hmm. Oh, okay.
And the book is okay. So they have a guidebook online for free,
Oh,
and then they
okay.
have this massive book that I just got not too long ago. Oh, like this book,
Oh, wow.
like you could do a deep dive,
Wow.
a deep
That
dive,
that thing is
and
huge.
it is amazing.
Wow.
Um,
How many pages is that?
well, that's a good question. Let's see. The last page is 504.
Wow.
It's a huge deck. But this is, and it's Rider Waite Smith and, well, let me get over here. It's Rider Waite Smith based.
Okay.
Again, Terra Volatile. You can look it up. They have all the images on their website, the guidebook, so you can see if it's a kind of deck that you would be interested in buying. And I think they have a sale going on right now as well. It's not a cheap deck, but it's a deck that'll last you forever because the card stock is really, really good, which is important to me.
Oh, are you a cardstock snob?
I don't think I'm a cardstock snob. As long as I can work with it, I'm fine. There was there was one, oh, I wish I could remember the name of it. One that it was just so slippery, and I liked the deck, but it
Mhm.
was so slippery I couldn't stand it because it would just
Oh,
fly all over the place. You've
interesting.
seen the Bohemian Gothic?
Oh, yeah, is that's out of print, right? Or they just put it back in
Actually,
print?
actually, it's back in print.
Nice.
So if you want to get it, right now's the time because they'll never print this deck again
Oh, yeah.
because they're leaving the tarot business.
Oh,
This is one of my favorite cards.
is
That's the
it
Knight.
Knight of Cups? Okay. Oh, okay.
And it deals with zombies and vampires and werewolves. When I
Nice.
got this deck, I did a walkthrough of this. I about lost my mind. I did, and I love the use of color and light. I mean, it's just stunning.
Yeah.
It's a stunning deck.
Wow.
They have 3 decks. Now, Baba Studios doesn't print their decks very often, so they can go years and years between printings. So
Yeah.
some of these decks will go for 5, 6, $700
Oh,
because
wow.
they're so popular.
Wow.
So when they came, and this was a unicorn deck of mine, so when it came out, I had to have it. And they reprinted the Victorian, and
Yeah.
they have the Prague. They weren't going to do it, but they had cardstock left over from the Bohemian Gothic, so
Okay.
they're reprinting the Tarot of Prague. So
Wow.
those are 3 decks that are very difficult to get, and they're never going to be reprinted again. So
Okay. I'll
I got
have to
them.
look.
I got them all. And then the Spoiler Tarot is a it's a unicorn deck for a lot of people. A lot of people. They're they they can be really expensive, like crazy expensive. The last uh the last 3 that I saw sell on eBay, those decks sold for just over 7, over 8, and 12, and one was $1,200.
Oh my gosh.
I know, craziness, right? I got very lucky. Some very nice people sold these to me at a very good price.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
collage deck that and I just love the images.
Mm, wow.
Let me see if I pulled it up. Now, I am not a big fan of the what do you call it? The three of swords, because usually it's a heart with three swords. I'm like, why?
Yes.
And that drives me. That's a big one for me. And the eight of wands. That's another one that can get under my skin. Like, why are we doing it like this?
Yeah, if you're gonna do something a little different, you know?
This is a fool card. I love the fool card on this one. Um, but I love the use of colors in this deck as well.
Wow, that green.
Stunning, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons I really like this deck.
Ooh, it's like right in your face.
Yes. And so as you can see, all three of those are very, very different. So I don't have like a particular style that I like. I just if I find it visually stimulating and then I want it. I like
Okay.
what I and what I think is a beautiful deck, somebody else may not.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the other thing. Because sometimes people will do walkthroughs of their favorite decks, and I'm like, ooh, really?
Like me with Everyday Witch.
No, no. Everyday Witch is it's not my style. It's actually a really nice deck. It's just not my style.
Okay.
Do you do Oracle cards?
So when I first got into tarot, of course, I went through the rabbit hole of like what other cards are out there. So like the Marseille and then of
Hmm.
course Oracle decks. So I did get a quite a few Oracle decks, a lot of animal Oracle decks. I really
Hmm.
lean towards that.
Yeah.
But Benny, to be honest, I really don't like that it's very free flowing. There's no like structure as the tarot when it comes to an Oracle deck.
Well, some of them are, some of them can be, but I like them. You're right. They can be very, very broad.
Yeah.
But I like them. I've learned for me, I have great intuition.
Yeah.
But those cards and trying to learn how to like put cards together, read them. I think oracle cards are a great way of trying to learn how to read
Oh,
uh,
absolutely.
with something like that. So because they give you most of them have keywords,
Hmm.
and so I think it's a great tool to learn how to develop intuition. Um,
Yes.
so if I tend to lean to tarot, but this shelf is all oracle, this shelf is all tarot.
Oh, I like that.
So I have them separated.
Okay.
And you have all your decks on your shelf behind you, or do you have other decks?
So this is my altar, and then I have another one in the other room.
Oh,
This
okay.
is my main altar
Okay.
where I keep my good decks.
What is your favorite deck to use right now?
The Everyday Witch Tarot.
The Everyday Witch Tarot. How long
Yeah.
have you had it?
I've had it since I gave away the Wild Unknown. So probably what, 2017, 2018.
Oh, okay. So you know that deck pretty well.
Yeah, so it's one of my first decks that I learned the tarot with.
Okay.
The other one was a themed deck. I don't know if you are into theme decks like
Game of
seasonal.
Thrones. Oh,
Yes,
season.
Game of Thrones or like this is the Halloween tarot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I have several.
Okay.
You have to excuse me. I have allergies.
No, you're good.
Now, the first video I saw of yours was the Oracle deck that had I'm horrible with names. I say that all the time on my channel. It's the Oracle deck that had all the horror movies.
Oh yes. I the one that you did a video on too, I think.
Yeah, and I really liked it. And then I saw your video and you were like, this guidebook, I just can't, I don't understand. I can't see how this is gonna help me. And I was like, so I went back to the guidebook and I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. That makes sense. And then
Yeah.
but in my mind, I'm like, but if you saw the movie, then you have an understanding of the movie and what that card can mean. But then again, you have to watch what 56,
Exactly.
57 movies.
Exactly. But the art, I mean, I really like the art,
I
Benny.
love the art. And I'm keeping it. I'm gonna use it. I love it. So and another thing is like there's several movies that I haven't watched. So I'm thinking a shortcut to kind of getting a feel for the movie is watch the trailer instead of the whole movie
Smart.
because it'll give you
Smart.
an idea of like what that feel is, what genre does it specifically fit within horror.
Yes.
So I thought the trailer would be like an added part of the guidebook.
Yeah, I mean the art is really great. And some of the keywords didn't really match to what I would have imagined. Like I think uh there was one, maybe it was for the Texas Chainsaw card.
Mhm.
I think it was either dinner or meat. I can't remember.
And
Um,
you don't see how that matches?
I mean, I can get it in a sense, but like when you read the guidebook and of like, how does that really apply? Like if I asked like a question or something, okay, I see dinner or whatever the keyword was. I mean,
Yeah,
I know the movie is about
cannibalism.
yes,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just ultimately
Do
couldn't.
you still have it?
I don't.
You rehomed it?
Yeah, I mean, I
How
gave
do
it to
you
someone.
Okay, is that how you rehome them? You give them away?
Yes, I give them away. I usually go through like a Facebook, a listing, or if I have
Mhm.
someone close by that's into stuff, then I'll just rehome them because I mean, I feel bad. They're just sitting there
You
collecting
feel bad?
dust. Yeah, like if they're just on the shelf and I'm not using it,
Yeah.
like it's just collecting dust when I know someone could use it.
Oh, that's very nice of you, not me. That's that's okay. Put it in a box, put it in the back of a shelf. But I know. So any decks that have you ever had a deck that you were like, oh, I do not like this deck. Like it kind of hit a nerve somehow that you're like, mm-mm, not using this deck.
Yeah, but you know what, Benny, I ended up getting it later down the road.
Uh-huh.
So, it was This Might Hurt Tarot.
Really?
Simply because I'll show it to you. Simply because the backs of the cards have
Yeah.
snakes.
Uh-huh.
I don't like snakes.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I got over it. I'm like, you know what? I just have to like,
Get over
you
it.
know, get over it.
So I had the same thing, the similar experience. You know the Labanco tarot?
No.
Okay. So Labanco tarot was a hot thing. And so I had an opportunity to get it early on, but there were two cards that I just could not get past. I just couldn't because they
Okay.
disturbed me. And I think that is an appropriate word for how this card. Okay, this is. I'm thinking this is my favorite Ten of Wands of all time.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that sense of perseverance and the
Yeah.
sense of having to work hard and everything just all on you. You're alone. You know, it's either a do or die situation. Uh,
Yes.
I just love that image caught me completely off guard. But these cards really disturbed me that I didn't get the deck. And when I finally made peace with it, and I'll show you why, um, I went back to get the deck and it was gone. And
Oh.
now everybody wants it. It can be a challenge to get. They're out there, but it can be a challenge to get. And okay, I'm coming. Okay, these two cards. Oh, they still bother me. And you will see why. So we got the lovers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, my eyes are drawn to like the colors, but yeah, I can see it.
yeah, bothers me. Then the devil.
Yeah, and this is what? What deck is this?
The Labanco tarot.
A bank. Okay.
Yeah, but the images are stunning. The color, the use of color is amazing.
Um,
The snakes
the snake.
of the cards that I picked. That's so hilarious. So, the colors just really, really add to the image and to the meaning of the deck. It's
Ooh,
just
yeah.
beautifully done.
Wow.
And so I said, you know what, Benny, maybe I love this Queen of Pentacles. And also, there's a lot of diversity in the deck as well, which
Oh,
I love.
good.
That's
Right.
important to me. So I've said, you know what, those cards are probably meant there for me because when they show up, it's something that it's letting me know that I really need to work on something. Because why
Ooh,
would it bother me so much?
yes. Oh,
Why would
wow.
I use the word disturbing? So I said, okay. And they're not going to come up in every reading, but when they do,
Right.
it's really when I need to listen to what the deck is trying to tell me. So I
Hmm.
went back to get it. And fortunately, she ended up having extras like her last little box and said, I'm going to be putting them up. And I was able to get one. But
Yeah.
that was one that I initially did not get that I regretted not getting. And I was lucky enough to get it. Isn't that
Wow.
interesting? I wonder how many other people have had that experience. We can't be the only two.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, is there like a deck that you've had or come across that you see that could be as great art pieces, but not necessarily a deck that you could work with?
Yes, I have two. And where's the? Oh, okay. I like these both decks. These are also decks that people really like. I keep saying that, right? So, this is a deck. It's called a Yokai Yochi deck. It's an Asian inspired deck, a Japanese deck, and these deal with um I don't know how to describe it. Like maybe folklore. These are kind of like spirits,
Okay.
but they're not Rider Waite Smith in any way that I can see.
Oh.
But I love the images. I
Hmm.
love the color palette. It's just a stunning deck. This has probably one of my favorite card stocks. And so, as you can see, it's just like this is a deck that I would need to spend 3, 6 months studying. The guidebook is so minimal. It doesn't really tell you about the actual
Art.
spirit itself.
Oh, wow.
And so, there's some books that you can get on the yokai that
Okay.
would help you learn about them to give you some more context to read with it. The guidebook's like doesn't have enough.
Oh no, it's like a little white pamphlet.
Yeah, but I love it. I love that deck, but there's no way I can read with it unless I bring out the little guidebook and just go on that alone.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the Jonas Joss tarot deck, and people love this one. She has like she every few years I think she puts out a different version of it, different colors, sizes. I would love the jumbo, but this one's another one that would be difficult for me to be able to read with.
Oh, I like the art though.
The art is
Um,
stunning. That's one of the reasons I got it.
yeah. Wow.
But there's no way I can read with this right now.
Hmm. Wow.
But the use of color, I love the knights in this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very powerful. So those are two that there's just no like the Three of Cups.
Huh.
I know what the Three of Cups means, but would I get that from this? Not necessarily. But
No.
I get it because I think it's just I have it a lot of decks. I wouldn't say a lot of decks. Many decks that I have, I got them mainly because they're beautiful, and I like looking at them because they're for me they're like art books, and I like
Yeah.
flipping through them.
Yeah.
And then some of them I get because they're like an investment, and I know that
Yes.
they'll be valuable in the future. And even though that deck may not fit my aesthetic and what I like to use, I
Hmm.
can if I have that deck, maybe somebody will have a unicorn deck that I want that I could do a trade with.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Any decks that other than your first deck, any other that you have that are like This is just not making sense to me.
Um, there was one called it's a pip deck. I don't know if you stay away from pip decks.
I have a couple.
Okay. There's it's the Antique Anatomy.
Yes.
So it's like all bones and
Yes, yes. That's a
skeleton.
very, very popular deck.
Yeah. I mean, I like the art. I like that aesthetic, like that
Mhm.
kind of like a little gothic, a little Victorian, or a little, what have you. Yeah, I've tried reading that deck, and I've tried learning pips or get a my head wrapped around pips, but I just
Mhm.
can't do it. I'm a like you. I'm a visual person, so I
Mm.
like to have a scene, and not just like three
Yeah,
swords or I need something.
to be able to hold on to.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now, when you started learning the tarot, what kind of challenges did you face in learning the tarot?
Well, the challenge of learning 78 meanings. It's a
Yeah.
lot. Like when you think about it, like, dang, I got to learn all 78 upright. And then if you choose to do, you can do the reversals, which I don't read reversals. I can't do it. Um, that was one challenge. And then the challenge of being patient. It's
Mm.
not, you can't learn it all in
Yes.
the first week or month or even year. It takes practice.
Mhm.
Um, so
I
what
think
I did, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
What I did, I would just pull a card each day, and I feel like a lot of people do that. They pull a
Yeah.
card each day, and then they discard it and not put it back in the pile. So each day you will get a new one regardless.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, go ahead.
Um, it's not, and the thing I think that makes it also challenging is you're just not learning 78 cards. You're learning how those 78 cards work with each other.
Yep.
And you could have the same 3 card spread, 5 different questions, and
Hmm.
and it will read differently for each question.
Yes.
Or you can have 2 cards, like the ace and the magician, and you read it that way. But if you put the magician first, then it reads differently.
Yeah.
So it's all of that that can make it very, very challenging to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in it for a while now, and I still learn. Like, I don't know about you, but I can't with the core cards. I still
Oh, I was gonna
struggle.
ask you. I was gonna ask you about the chord cards. I haven't even started studying the chord cards.
Okay.
I'm a year and a half in, and I haven't touched them.
Yeah. I mean, you could just read them in so many different ways. I
Do you have a tarot deck that has people like characters from a TV show or a movie or anything that are associated with each card?
well,
Like the Game of Thrones?
I have the Golden Girls Tarot.
Okay, yeah, but it's 4 characters that would place each of them, so I don't think that would work as well.
No,
Like the Harry you like Harry Potter, it sounds like. Are you a big fan of
no, I
Harry
don't.
Potter?
I
You
don't like
don't?
Harry Potter.
So if you can find a tarot deck of a show or a movie that you really, really, really love, and you
Okay.
know those characters well, and if there's a tarot deck that goes with that, like the Game of Thrones, they literally have characters for each of the court cards that
Okay.
match well. And that could be a jumping off
Interesting.
that could be a jumping off point of
Okay.
seeing that because every character has their personality, and
Hmm.
so you'll be able to see how that character fits that court card and their personality, which could lead to learning how the personality of the card is meant to be read.
Yeah, because I mean, you could try reading them as a personality or a person, and
Hmm.
then you can read them in a different way of like energies or it's core cards are just a world in its own.
Oh, there was a woman who responded to uh, Lisa Papez's Facebook page on how she learned the tarot, the court cards. What she did, and I'm doing that now. She took the court cards, all the court cards out, and then 16 oracle cards out.
Okay.
Shuffle them, and then she just would pull one and one.
Okay.
And then she would look for that court card throughout the whole day. Then she would
Oh,
put them aside and pull two brand new ones the next day. Give herself a
okay.
mini reading, and then where does this show up in my day? So that's how. So I'm trying to see if that works.
You'll have to let me know.
Well, the challenge is when you do that, it's remembering to look
Yeah.
for it throughout the day. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a picture on my phone and it'll be my screensaver. So when I look at my phone, it reminds me.
That's smart. So that brought up something. Do you have any like tarot apps or oracle apps on your phone?
No, I tried them. They're just not for me. You?
Yeah, no, I like to have it in my hand. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I
It
have to,
doesn't. It doesn't feel one. It feels so distilled. So I don't feel connected.
yes.
And because I'm not handling the cards and shuffling
Mhm.
them myself, there just feels like a it feels inauthentic when
Yes.
I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't work for me.
I thought about getting the mobile version of the Everyday Witch Tarot because I mean, I love that deck. But like you said, it's you're not really connected as well as having the cards in your hand. So I
Mhm.
always find it interesting to see if like people who are really invested in tarot, if they have mobile apps, because we're always on our phone.
Yeah, you can get lost in it.
Yeah.
One thing that you did talk about in one of your videos was this thing that you like to just sit there and shuffle your cards, and you were asking like, I don't know why. And I think it for a lot of people it's because it's a soothing repetitive action.
Yeah.
It's calming. It helps with anxiety. It helps, not that you have any anxiety, but doing repetitive things over and over again can be very, very soothing. It's like falling into a meditative state.
Yeah, I mean it's comforting. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you just get
Yes.
lost in it. And this might not correlate, but I
Mhm.
watch or I have the Golden Girls TV show on the background as I go about
Mhm.
my day, and
Yes.
just something. It's very comforting and you know
Familiar.
familiar. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and so your first video, Golden Girls,
Uh huh. It
wh
was. It's
what
cringeworthy.
did you have, like did you have a hard time figuring out, like, what would be your first video, or did you know it was gonna be the Golden Girls review?
I instantly knew it was going to be the Golden Girls. I did.
And do you use it often,
Uh,
or do you have
not
it because it's the Golden Girls?
I have it because it's the Golden Girls. It is a really good representation of the show, which a
Mhm.
lot of pop culture decks these days, I feel like the actual show or characters are an afterthought.
Mm.
Like some of the decks, and I hate to bring them up, but like Insight editions of decks. I
Mhm.
don't know if you know that company or publishing.
Are they the ones that, like, do the Buffy the Vampire, that company?
Yes,
Yes, I'm familiar with them.
because they're like pip decks.
Mhm.
The majors are like fully illustrated, and then the minors are like just
Yeah, throwaways, it feels like throwaways.
throwaways.
Yeah, there are some decks that I really love because the majors are amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to the pit that then
The
you get to the
minors.
pits and
Yeah.
you're like, "Mm." And I'll pass up on a lot of them. I actually just ordered a deck that is a pip deck, but it's not a traditional pip deck, and I vacillated because the majors are amazing.
Okay.
But Kelsey from Huggy Tarot has it, and we talked about it. She's doing a deep dive, and so we were just talking, and she pulled out a card, and we started talking about that particular card.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And then she said she would do a study with me as well. So
Oh,
I
nice.
said, okay, I'll get. It's an expensive deck. I said, but you know what? I'll give it a go. Um, Let me get the name of it because everybody's going to be curious what it is that I'm talking about. So let me look it up. Do you have any pip decks that you use at all?
Trying to think. I don't think I have any in my library anymore. I think I rehomed them all. If you
Okay.
count the Inside Editions decks, I have a couple of those left that I'm trying to like give away, but people aren't just taking them. They're like, well, we know them, so we're good.
Well, what you could do is you could do a giveaway.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you could do a giveaway. People would be willing to take them if they've not never had one. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll give it a try and see what that's like. Maybe it's something I'd like. Um, Let me try Feel Like Tarot.
Yeah, I'm just
What
trying to
pip decks do you got right now?
said Pip decks.
Yeah, what you
Um,
say that you have some that you don't like?
yeah, I have like the Disney villains.
Oh, I like the idea of those,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's a deck that I would enjoy.
No, like I mean the majors are good and then some of the minors are pretty decent, but then a lot of them are like fluff. Like then they go back
Yeah.
to their old ways of like just putting three of coins on there or something like that. I'm like, okay. Um, there was one that I was really interested in. That was the Universal Monsters, I think. It's from Inside Editions as well.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Fantastic majors. The minors were interesting if they were done really well. Like the, can you remember? The suits were kind of, they were renamed, but they were kind of switched.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of when they rename them. Because then
Yeah, because it's confusing.
yeah, like I was just working with one. Oh, the Mysteries of Mary. Do you know that deck?
No.
It's a deck about the Virgin Mary, and it's this woman goes all over the world to visit different shrines in different countries
Oh, okay.
of the Virgin Mary. Oh,
Interesting.
now I'm gonna have to show you the deck.
Sorry, I keep getting you up and out.
Okay, it's fine. For people that don't know the deck, they're gonna be interested in it. So it's really beautiful, well done. This is one of for its regular price is expensive.
Oh, okay.
But what she did is she would go to all these shrines all over the world, do some research, and then she would come home and she would make actual shrines in frames.
Wow.
And she's an artist and she goes in galleries and does them. But like this is the Queen of Roses. This is a minor.
Okay.
That's an actual shrine that she built inside of a frame.
Hmm.
So that it's not a collage picture. These are actual like figurines and stuff.
Okay. Huh. Wow.
It's a beautiful deck. So I use this deck in December because December every year for me, I use it as a month for spiritual growth and spiritual connection. But when they change the names, oh, I just like, why are you making me work so hard? I have some that so that's the one thing that I'm not a big fan of.
How do you feel about them switching, I guess, like the air and fire? There was one deck that I got and
Yes,
switched it, and I'm like, that's the only deck I've seen that does that.
I don't think I have any decks that do that, and I've I've seen videos of it. I
Hmm.
don't think I would like I don't think I would like it, to be honest.
Mm.
I don't. I do know that Kelly from Truth and Story, she changes the order of how they come out. If
Yeah.
I'm correct, she puts air at the top because
Uh-huh.
it's the lightest of all the elements. So
Yeah.
she switches those. I'm still trying to find that deck. If I don't find it really quick, then I'm just going to put it in the description. But it
Oh
is
yeah, absolutely.
it's a oh, I'm not gonna look for it. Um, but it's a deck that I'm gonna get. Do you have a budget that you're the first person I'm asking this. Do you have a budget of how much you're willing to spend on a deck?
Hmm. I did. I do. Uh, no more than 65, $70.
Oh, so you can get some indie decks with that price.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have indie decks?
I do. I have, this is now out of print. It just got out of print last
Of
year.
course it is, and I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, it's out of hand tarot.
Okay, can I see some cards?
Yeah. So all of the cards are like first person. So this is a seven of swords,
Oh, okay, I see. Actually, that's a really nice image.
and then
Very modern,
very
what you got.
modern, three of wands.
Got it, got it. Okay,
Out of print, but I'm glad I got it. I think I spent maybe $60 on it.
okay.
Um, and then this one, Tarot of Oneness.
That's also first person, isn't it?
Um,
I don't know.
yes, some of the cards are, yes.
Okay, all right.
I'll just show a couple. What is this? Five of Pentacles.
Okay.
Oh, that's a
Yeah, the
major.
Five of Pentacles is my favorite card.
Oh, this is Two of Pentacles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Um,
love that. See, if a year ago I wouldn't be able to see the I wouldn't be able to see that and make the correlation.
right. Yeah. Um, may I ask, do you have one? A
Oh, what?
budget?
I yes and no. It
Okay.
really does depend on how bad I want the deck. Um, I I've said this before. I'm very fortunate that I'm in a position that I am where I can be a little bit freer with my money.
Okay.
Um, I don't mind spending $100 on a deck. I've
That's
spent more.
fair.
I've spent more. I think I have spent once over $300 for a deck.
Well,
Uh,
I'm not judging.
no,
I
that's
think that
fine.
I think that's a good, I mean,
But I've been lucky. I've been very, very lucky. Um, what I will tell you, there's this deck that I really like.
uh-huh.
It's a French deck. Do you know Fairlight Tarot? Sylvia
No.
from Fairlight Tarot? You might like her. She showed this deck and she really loves this deck. And so I really liked it. Very different, something I would never have thought I'd like. It's not usually my aesthetic, but to ship it here is almost the same price as buying the deck, which is
Oh,
still less than I think $100 or just over $100. And so I was like,
oh,
I can't see myself spending that much. And this is funny. It's the way the brain works for me. If it was $110 free shipping, I'd buy it.
yeah,
But because it's $110 with shipping, I'm not buying it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I've
just
been there.
it's just
I've been
weird,
there.
but I'm like, I'm not spending that much money on shipping. And so, but now I went back because I kept going back, watching videos,
Yeah.
and it's sold out now. Hope she'll probably have another reprinting, like a third edition. But yeah,
Yeah. There is one deck that I've been keeping an eye on, but it's I mean it's not a bad price. It's $75, but it's coming from a different country and they say the shipping could take maybe 3 to 4 months to get here.
wow.
And
Don't
it's
forget
called,
about it. One day it'll show up on your doorstep.
yeah, I'll order it and then I'll forget about it. Yeah.
What is it?
Um,
Do you remember?
it's called Twisted. I wrote it down.
I'm sorry, guys.
Twisted Tales, and it's by
I've heard it.
Tarot Collectibles.
I think I've heard of it.
It's like a horror themed deck, and it also has an expansion pack, but the expansion pack is also $75.
How many cards? Same amount of cards?
Uh,
Do you know?
probably, probably,
Yes.
but it's not going to be, yeah, it might be the same amount of cards.
Twisted Tarot deck? Or is
Twisted
it Twisted
Tales?
Circus Tarot?
No, Twisted Tales.
Twisted Tales. Okay. I want to look at it to see. because it sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
they have a bunch of RWS clones. They do the winter weight and the dead weight, of course, zombie themed, and then they have the winter theme.
Is this it?
No, uh-uh.
Okay. I'll look for it, or I'll look for it.
Yeah, I'll send it to
Maybe
you
not.
via
Yeah,
Instagram.
I'd be interested to see it because I feel like I've heard of it, but if not, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's based off like all these different horror shows. They have Elvira on there,
Oh,
X-Files, and it's very pop culture esque.
oh, it's like the horror oracle that you don't like.
Yeah, you're just not gonna let that up, are you?
Oh, you know what? Everybody has their thing.
That's right.
Okay, so when it comes to your YouTube channel,
Hmm.
what equipment do you use?
So I am very basic. I use my phone,
Mhm,
and I have like a collapsible stand with
mhm.
a square light, and that's how I film. And then I have like a cutout, maybe long rectangle of like a wooden plank or something like that.
Mm,
Whenever I do walkthroughs, you'll see
yeah.
like a different thing at the bottom, and then I have the collapsible hanging. Yeah, nothing fancy.
Did you find it challenging to, like, figure out how to record, how to upload it, how to edit, all that stuff?
Yeah, so when I first started, I would just have the camera or the phone like being held up by maybe like two DVDs or stacked up in a like
Yeah,
12, 15 DVDs stacked up to do a walkthrough.
very
Uh,
MacGyver.
yeah, yeah. And then editing was kind of a breeze because in college I studied mass media communications.
Oh,
So we
okay.
were very into Final Cut Pro and live
Mm,
movie, iMovie, sorry.
so
So I
what
was
do you
very,
use for your editing?
the editing I use iMovie.
iMovie?
Hmm.
Yeah, I used iMovie. It's that one's really easy to use, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then I decided because I struggled with color grading and quality of the image, and
Yeah.
so I went up to Final Cut Pro. I did the because I have a MacBook, so you can try it out for
Nice.
3 months for free,
Yep.
Final Cut Pro, and I really liked it, and so I just switched.
Nice.
And the great thing about Final Cut Pro is it's one price and that's it, and you get all the updates every year, so you don't have to
Oh,
pay a subscription. It's
okay.
300 bucks and that's it, and you're done. You never pay again. And if you have
Wow.
issues with trying to figure it out, you can call Apple
Okay.
support, and they'll help you with some things here and there, but they won't like do a tutorial on how to do that.
Okay.
But they have some, but you can find that on YouTube. That's how I figure out a lot of stuff is I'll go to YouTube to
Yeah.
show me how to do stuff on Final Cut Pro.
Everything's on YouTube.
Let me tell you, YouTube has saved me so many times.
So many lifestyle hacks are on there. So what do you use? Do you use like an actual video recorder or do you use your phone or
Well, I'm a little so it'd be nice if I just got a phone and a stand. No, I went all out. I got an all-in-one stand
yeah.
that has like 4 or 5 arms, and so you can put your light on it, your camera, your computer, and your microphone on it.
Okay.
And it just stays connected to my desk. And then I have a Sony VZ1, which is a great computer if you're looking for what I think is a reasonable price camera for cameras.
Okay.
And then I just upgraded to a wireless microphone. Yes, I have this
Wow.
wireless microphone right here.
Okay.
So
Fancy.
the thing with the wireless is I've had it die on me in mid recording, and so there is no warning when you're
Oh
recording.
yeah.
So I finish it and I'm like, great. So either I have to pick it up from where it left off, pretending nothing had happened, or just
Uh-huh.
re-record all over the place,
So
or record all over again.
so you've been there. You've recorded that you thought you recorded the whole thing and then all of a sudden you noticed, oh, it didn't record that.
More than once. My Bohemian Gothic walkthrough, which I was super excited about,
Hmm.
I forgot to hit record because I was so like oh my God, I got it. Because that was a true blue unicorn deck for me. And I was like broken on the inside. I went over and
I
I sat on
bet.
my couch and I was just like, I can't believe I didn't record that. I just can't. And so after about 20 minutes, I was like, okay, get up and do it again. So I got up,
Yeah.
I recorded it. I told everybody what happened, and then I did the walkthrough. And you could see I was just as excited. Not as I
Oh,
was pretty excited still, but yeah, heartbreak. That's happened to me more than once. I need
yeah.
a checklist, and I tell myself to get a checklist. I still haven't done it, and I still keep making those mistakes.
Yeah. Ah, it's devastating once you find that out. And then sometimes I just like I won't record until days later. I'm like, oh, never
Yeah,
mind. I've lost motivation.
yeah. Well, because it's you put your heart in it. You know,
Yeah.
you put your effort. Sometimes you do research, and
Yeah.
sometimes videos aren't 10 minutes. Sometimes they're 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour.
Yeah.
And then you know that it didn't work out, that bites. And it hits you because you like I'm very emotionally invested in the videos that I do. And you know,
Yeah.
so,
Absolutely. You have to be, you know?
yeah. And so when something happens, it's like, damn it.
Ah.
Have you upgraded any of your equipment since you first started?
Uh, no, I've stood by Apple products.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the only thing I wish I could upgrade, but there's no way, is YouTube being forever taking of uploading. I don't know about you, but it takes
Oh,
forever to upload a video.
what do you what do you what MacBook do you have? Do you have a newer one, older one in Air?
I have an Air, maybe
Air.
2020, 2021.
Okay, so I do know it's a couple of things. One is the kind of computer that you have. So like a MacBook Pro will upload a lot faster.
Oh,
Internet speed will
yeah.
also will do the same thing. One of the things that because I have some that will upload in a couple hours, others that will take 12, 13 hours. Yeah, I know. So I always upload when I go to bed.
Oh,
That
smart.
way by morning it's up. And I'll check my upload speed because
Hmm.
if something's not going right, I can restart my modem,
Oh, yeah.
or I can call, the cable company and they can reset it and send a signal.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes that helps.
Okay.
But also, how many items are also connected to your Wi-Fi can
That's
affect
true.
it.
Yeah. Technology.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I'm at that age where technology started booming. And so like I have one foot on, I don't know nothing about computers, and the other foot
Uh,
is like, so I get
yeah.
frustrated very easily with
Okay.
stuff. Like setting up my printer about a week ago, I thought I was gonna lose my mind. Setting up a printer.
That's funny.
So, but I ended up creating a website. And I'm like, I have a hard time with a printer, but I can create a website. It's weird. I never know what's gonna trip me up. And you have a hard time with technology at all?
Um, yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Nothing that I can, with a little patience, I can persevere. Yeah.
Now, on your YouTube channel, are there things that you do not talk about, things you don't share, um, that you keep pretty guard? Like that I had told you right before there was a couple of
Mhm.
things that I do not share on my channel for one reason or another. You have
Right.
stuff
Very,
like that as well?
very valid. Actually, no. I'm kind of an open book and I try to bring myself authentically in the
Oh, I will
videos.
tell you that does come. I'm gonna tell you your last video, your February video with your robe. I was like, well, if somebody's gonna be authentic, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, there was another video. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's called Tarot in the Bedroom.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Okay. Check that one out. That it gets a little risque, racy. It gets very intimate. So I try to, just kind of be myself, you
You
know?
don't ever have moments where you're like, oh, should I post this? Should I not post this?
Uh, no, actually. I
Okay.
mean, watch, you said it now, so the next time I do try to do something and they're like, oh, I shouldn't post that. So I won't, yeah.
Yeah, there have been a couple times I've shared something and I'm like, I share
Y-
this in my everyday life. Why am I having an issue sharing it on YouTube? And
Exactly.
so, and sometimes I'll still edit it out. I
Yeah.
just feel I feel much more vulnerable on
Hmm.
YouTube for some reason. And I think
Yeah,
it's just because the the amount of people that see the video also, you never know where in your life this will show up.
exactly.
So there's some things that and also it's a way of just making sure that I listen to my gut. If my gut says if my gut is even questioning it, it's a no
Yeah.
for me.
Good. Good. I
Yeah.
mean, internet is forever, so
Do you have any unicorn decks? Do you know what a unicorn deck is?
it's where a deck that's out of reach, right?
Yeah, it's either so there are different definitions of what a unicorn deck is. I had mine, and then somebody else kind of said what a unicorn deck, and I was like, that's not a unicorn deck. But then I had to sit with it and figure out who am I
Yeah.
to see what a unicorn deck is for somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's basically a deck that's either from all the people that I've heard so far, it's out of print, difficult to find, out of price range, um, whatever it may be for you. And it's just a deck that would be very hard for you to get.
Um, I would have said the Twisted Tales, but I mean, again, it's not expensive, but it's expensive to me.
Right.
And
So that would be a unicorn deck.
okay,
Like
uh,
somebody would like there's some decks I would have to save money for.
yeah,
And but for some people, there just isn't that the budget to be able to save for something like that.
right,
When there are other things that are more pressing to spend money on. So
absolutely,
that would be a unicorn deck for somebody.
yeah. So that would be it. And plus, I mean, because it takes months to be shipped, and it could get lost. That's my fear of like it getting lost,
Yeah.
and then there's no. I don't know if they'll like refund or what have
Well,
you.
that's another reason I use PayPal to pay, because if
Smart,
it does get lost and you contact the seller and they're like, "Well, too bad, so sad,"
yeah,
you can contact PayPal and get your money back.
smart,
Yeah, so and don't use friends and family when you pay with PayPal
right.
because you can't get your money back. Okay. And do you have any unicorn decks that you were able to get?
I was able to get the Dark Mansion. I think I showed this before. This one.
Oh, yes, I did see you. You got that from somebody.
It was a neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I had posted it on Facebook Marketplace or maybe it was some Facebook group, and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for this deck, the authentic version, not the one that's on Amazon." And she lived right down the road.
Very nice, very lucky. Do you use it
Yeah.
very often?
Um. Well, the thing is, Benny, I don't, I haven't been motivated to
Mhm.
use my decks lately.
Yeah,
I'm still coming out of the holiday season. I feel
yeah.
like. But it is a good deck. It really is.
Good.
It's
I
really
like
good.
it, but I probably won't get it. If I get it, it won't probably be until the holiday season next year,
There you go.
maybe
Yeah.
the Halloween time. And there are
Yeah.
several decks like that that I won't get until the season happens. So when it comes to TarotTube, who are your favorite YouTube channels that you continue to go back to?
I definitely like Amy from Strength Reversed. I don't know
Oh,
if
I
you,
haven't heard of her. Hold on, I gotta write that down.
yeah, she's really good. She's very authentic, and I really like that.
Strength
It's
Reversed?
yes.
Okay.
And then Peekaboo Rose,
I think I might have heard her. Okay, I'll look it up.
and then there's Tom Benjamin.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I like him as well.
Yeah, he's really good. He's very informative and he's
Yeah,
very honest.
he recently just did a series of like work with me
Yeah,
yeah, I like those. Those were really, really good.
yeah.
Do you know who Katie Flowers is?
Yes.
I was like, I think you'd like Katie Flowers.
Does she still do tarot videos?
She doesn't do tarot videos. She has a ton. She's left them up, so I still go back to
Oh,
them because I
good.
haven't seen them all. But she's on still on YouTube, but she does books.
Oh, yeah. I remember something like that.
She
Yeah.
loves books, loves books. So
Yeah.
who's your guilty pleasure where you just want to sit and just watch, not necessarily want to learn anything?
Um, I would say Dr. Mystical. He
Dr.
does,
Mystical?
yeah, he does live readings. And he's very like fun and he has a wide variety of decks.
Mm-hmm.
So each video has different, he uses a different deck.
Do you know Krista Chronicles?
Sounds familiar.
She used to do, she had another name, Crystal's Crochet, Tarot Crochet, or something like that. She, I have not seen anyone with such an eclectic taste in tarot than her. And she's very lighthearted and
Oh,
beautiful
good.
to watch. So I would check her out.
Okay.
Christmas Chronicles. You might like her.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like off when we get off this, we'll have
Yeah.
to exchange
Now, who's your
people.
number one to go to? I want to learn something. Like you're like in a intellectual study mode.
Hmm. I would probably say Tom Benjamin.
Mm,
He has all those workshops
yeah.
available and he's been in the game for years and years.
Have you ever taken any workshops or classes?
I thought about it when I first got into tarot,
Hmm.
but then I was just like, I'll just try to teach myself first.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't work, then I'll go to the professionals.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
about
Have you done any of the free classes online at all?
mm-mm,
No. Okay.
no.
And when it comes to your tarot practice, what is when you're actually playing with your cards, what does that look like for you?
So for me, I don't use any spreads.
Okay.
I should probably get
Well,
into
I'll tell you,
spreads.
most of the time I don't use spreads either.
Oh,
Very
okay.
rarely. I have things that I do that
Uh-huh.
are ordered, but I don't have like a spread that I do specifically.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it, of spreads, but I feel like it adds another layer to it that it's gonna try to confuse me somehow. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
it, I'm not, I've done a few. I did Tawny Tarot invited people to do a snail mail tarot reading. And so
Nice.
we signed up, she paired us up, and I used a spread for one person.
Yeah.
It helps, but it also kind of, I feel it confines me
Mm-hmm.
a little bit on what the cards could say. I like the
Exactly.
question, and then I just like the cards to speak to me, however they speak to me. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll read from left to right. Sometimes the middle card will be the thing. I look at what's really standing out within the cards. So I don't have like an order that I follow, which is really interesting because I have a very structured way of thinking. Tarot is one of the few
Mm-hmm.
places where my mind is very malleable on how I see things. So do you tend to
Okay.
like do 3 card readings, 5 card readings, or how does that work for you?
I typically do up to three.
Up to
Um,
3?
Up to three. Whatever jumps out. I don't know if you're into jumper cards.
I do.
Do you?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
If
So
they
I
jump out
really.
one at a time, if I have like 5 that jump out, I'm like, "No." They go back in the
Oh,
pile.
exactly. So I do up to three, and then, like I said, I do it for more like self-care, like what to
Mhm.
be mindful of, what to look out for, how, how to structure my day around those cards. I will say uh, for part of my work, travel. I go to different conventions, and I
Mhm.
usually take a tarot deck with me.
Yeah.
And that morning, we usually get up pretty early to start the day and end the day late. I just pull a card or up to three cards and just try to, see if those cards pop up during that day, like
Mhm.
throughout the day, and just focus on those. energies.
Yeah, I do when you were talking about self-care, that is the main reason I use it. So I'll ask questions like, um, what can I do to be the best service to the people that I work with?
Mm,
How can I make sure that I take care of myself first today?
yep,
How can I be the best version of myself today? It's really about
yep,
today. How can I incorporate my spirituality, or like what part of my spirituality can I incorporate throughout my day? So things like
yeah,
that. It's very, um, as I've gotten older, learning how to be the best version of myself and learning how to be of value to society and the people. I know it sounds very out there, but I really live like this. Like, what's the best that I can do today for me and somebody else? Like, how can I live up to my full potential? That's really like
absolutely.
what my whole day is, how I read tarot. Um,
Yeah, yeah. And it's all about how you ask the questions.
yes, I think that's very important as well.
Yeah.
I do use them when I have dilemmas to
Hmm.
kind of when I feel stuck. I think the cards
Hmm.
allow me to kind of hold on to something and just follow that path, open up something that I hadn't even thought about, that, because I think the subconscious
Hmm.
sometimes has the answer, that
Exactly.
just needs a key to open up the door. And I think the
Hmm.
tarot is a very good key for that.
Yep.
I had, when I was working as a director at one of the places where I worked at, I had to deal with a very volatile employee.
Ooh,
And it was going to be an uncomfortable conversation,
yeah.
because they were going to get written up for their behavior. And so the question was, what is the number one thing that I need to be mindful of when I go into this meeting? I
Hmm.
pulled the cards, and it basically said, listen more than you speak and be mindful of the things you say. So I said,
Hmm.
okay. So I got to the door, took a deep breath, remembered the reading. I walked in, and that is exactly what I did. I did my job. I did my job well, but being mindful of that, not reacting, not having my buttons pressed, not
Hmm.
saying what I wanted to say the way I wanted to say it, really made sure that it was a constructive conversation as best that it could, that didn't escalate the situation. So I will use it for those kinds of situations as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's that example is a great example of how you use tarot in a beneficial way instead of going the route of that low hanging fruit that I talked
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love low hanging fruit.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Do you do anything like that for yourself where you use them for situations?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, whenever I get in a dilemma, I typically pull something for like more like advice or guidance and just try to like get outside of the box of this dilemma that has caused me to be stuck.
Hmm.
And if I pull a card and think about it, it just kind of like, opens a doorway of how to think about the dilemma in another different way rather
Yeah.
being so stuck on what's really making you stuck in the first place.
Okay. Do you do any journaling?
I don't.
Okay. I like the idea of it.
The idea. Uh huh.
And then I see like, Dawn Michelle. Do you know Dawn Michelle?
Oh, yeah.
She does all this journaling, and her journals are beautiful. I'm not very artistic, but this is the year that I dedicated, to doing journaling.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I got me a nice journal, and this is as far as I've gotten. But today, after we get done, I'm going to do my first two journal entries.
Oh,
Uh,
there
And
you go.
I've done it. I tried once before with, the elements. It was so ugly. I did a video on it. It was so ugly. I was so embarrassed.
Mhm.
So I stopped, but now I'm going to retry again and keep it simple. Try not to make it all beautiful and pretty like
Yeah.
it has, because really that's not the purpose.
Right.
So we're going to see how that goes.
Oh, well, I'm excited.
So what's up? do you have any plans for your channel? Any video ideas, series that you're going to come up with, or is it just in the back burner for right now?
Um, well, there's a couple of video ideas that I thought about last year that I
Hmm.
wanted to do last year, but that never popped up. I have a series where I dissect um, the suits.
Hmm.
So I did the cups, the wands, I did all four. And then my next series, installment in that series was the court cards. And you know how I'm not a big
Yeah.
fan of them. So I've been putting that on the back burner, but it's still there, bubbling.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to do that this year. And the other thing that I want to do is kind of like get more into the decks to actually use for a purpose outside of doing content. Like I
Okay.
want to be able to wake up in the morning and just pull a card just for myself. Do you know what I mean? Like not
I
to
do.
put it.
I used to do that every morning. I have an Instagram account as well.
Mhm.
And so that's how I would journal, is I would pull the cards, take a picture, do my
Yeah,
reading, which could be quite long, summarize it, and put it on Instagram. So
yeah.
I've gotten out of the habit of doing, so I'm trying to get back into the habit of doing it.
Hmm.
What's kind of gotten in the way is self-care. I've started going to the gym in the mornings.
Oh, well, that's
It
good.
has to be the first thing I do or I won't do it. And it's kind of gotten in the way of doing that. And then the
Yeah,
days in between, I'm tired from the workout before, so it hasn't been happening.
yeah, yeah. Do you have any other things that you're looking forward to doing?
Well, I'm going to continue my hashtag Saturdays, these interviews. I have a couple of ideas that I want to do. One of them feels a bit daunting, but it won't leave me. So I feel that I want to do a series on each and every card.
Wow.
And
Mhm.
so 78 videos.
Yeah.
So that feels daunting. Maybe make them into shorts or something.
Yeah, there you
But,
go.
but I don't know how to do that. So I got to figure out how to do shorts.
That's another thing to learn how
Yeah,
to
it's something else to learn. So, but I have a little book. Oh, where are you? I have a little book somewhere where I write all my ideas down.
Oh, that's good.
And so on there, it has, because I do hashtag Saturdays. So on there, anytime I run into a hashtag on YouTube, I
Mhm.
write it down. So I have hashtags from like 5, 6 years ago that I want to do because for me, they're new, but
Yeah.
also I get to introduce them here.
Yeah.
And then every couple of months, I try to create my own hashtag.
Yeah.
I have like I think four. I have um, five tarot decks. I would say from a fire. Five more
Nice.
decks I say from a flood. Um, and so that's going to be a series. Five saved from. And then I just did uh, tarot time capsule. I just did that yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Uh, 10 decks that I would put in a time capsule that would be open up several hundred years from now. Um,
Wow.
so trying to come up with some hashtags that I think would be interesting, but more importantly for me, challenging. So
Yeah.
five tarot decks, I would say from a fire. That's hard when you have more than 5, 10 cards.
Yeah.
And so and I had somebody say, I can only bring it down to 8. I said, well, if you sit there and contemplate, you're not going to make it. It's got to be
No.
5.
Oh my gosh. Do you have these videos like in a playlist on your channel
I
or?
do. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at them.
Yeah. And now I just learned how to do end cards. Do you know end cards?
Oh yeah.
So I just did those to all these interviews. I have an end card to the interview before.
Nice. Okay.
And so at the end, I didn't know this. When you do an end card, it automatically starts playing the next video that you put at the end card.
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. So that series is done. The next one I'm going to do is the hashtag Saturdays. I'm going to do the end cards for those. So
Okay.
little by little, I'm learning. And the thing is with me is, I don't know if this is like for you, when I feel like I've been thinking, oh, I got to do end cards. in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to be so daunting. So I finally sat down and I did it last night, and it took me
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 minutes to learn how to do.
Yeah.
So it's I tend to get in my own way sometimes.
Same. Same. It's all in the mind.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Uh, no, I think the questions that you asked are like really good, and I think I had fun. I had
Yeah, it
fun.
was a great conversation. And
Yes.
this is one of the things that I love about doing this is that it's nice to talk to somebody who also has a passion for the tarot
Yes.
because
Absolutely.
I don't have that. I literally don't have that with anybody. And to be able to connect with other people and just talk about like your favorite decks and oh, look at the thumbs up. Talk about your favorite decks and what you like to do, talk about your channel.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's really nice to connect.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I got a YouTube channel because it's all about the connection we make with others. And
Mhm.
I like to when I before I had the YouTube channel, I would always comment on
Mhm.
videos that I really
Yeah.
liked, and we would just have this back and forth conversation. And then now that I have a channel, like I like to comment. I like to read the comments and I'll respond to the comments. I will say not a lot of tarot tubers do that. Like when you
Oh, yeah.
comment on their video and they don't say anything, and I'm like, okay,
I do have several Lisa Papez always responds.
oh good.
Um, Krista Chronicles, she's responded to mine. The people usually the ones I don't respond. I don't write to everybody.
Okay.
Sylvia from Fairlock Tarot will respond. In fact, we've actually emailed each other back and forth. Oh, I want to ask, are you a member of any of the channels in their memberships?
Uh no, I don't
I
think so.
do Lisa Papez. I like her
Oh, nice.
membership because you get all these new videos, but she'll once a month she'll do a reading for everybody that wants one. So
Oh wow.
sometimes she's on the channel on her doing it for like 8, 10 hours.
Oh,
You're doing a reading for everybody. And she
jeez.
doesn't rush. She'll do the readings aren't super long, but
Uh-huh.
she gives you a good reading.
Okay.
And then I am Fairlight Tarot. She just started hers. I like hers. Who else am I? Dawn Michelle. She has a lot of extra stuff on hers as well.
Yeah, I like
And
her
then I'm a
stuff.
reader with one more, but I can't think off the bat. But I find them valuable because they also do practices that you could do.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
like Don Michelle has a brand new one this year where it's going to take the whole year, and it's like this journey that you're taking with the tarot.
Oh.
I mean, you need dice and all this kind of stuff.
Um,
You can journal. It's. I haven't. I'm behind, but yeah, Lisa
wow.
Papez does a deck study. So
Oh yeah.
she'll give you 5 decks, and they're all mass market, so they're affordable. That was important to her.
Oh good.
She picked 5 decks. All the members vote, and the one that wins, that's the one that they'll study for 2 months. And she'll do prompts during that time, and then at the end, they do a community meetup to
Wow.
discuss the tarot deck.
Wow. I
I
love
know,
that.
right?
Wow. I didn't know all that.
Yeah. So, well, the only reason I found all that is I gave it I gave it a shot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's cool. I wish I had like time and patience. That's the main thing, patience to do that
Yeah.
and the motivation.
Well, yeah, I totally relate.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Of course, Benny, I appreciate you inviting me, and it's an honor to be on your channel. It really is.
Well,
I
thank
really
you.
like your personality, and you're very authentic. And like I said before, like I was a little nervous being on having the
Mhm.
conversation, but it was very fun. I liked
Yeah.
it.
Once we get started, it's just two people talking about what they love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining me and Jason. I'm going to be linking his channel below. Please support him by subscribing. And until next time, my name is Benny and I am the Fool's Apprentice. Bye, guys.